Our Frenchman is Maxime Raynaud. And it's funny, I saw the picture yesterday and ended up, I guess, upsetting a Kings fan on it, and I didn't understand why. But there was a picture of Maxime Raynaud, Rudy Gobert, and Victor Wembanyama all in their French fits pictured together. The three centers of the French national team. And Wemby, all three of them, or I believe all three of them, are with France right now ahead of their World Cup qualifying games, which are like August 27th and August 30th. And Max has already been participating in the French national team World Cup qualifiers. This is the first time that he's played with Rudy already. This is the first time he's going to be playing with Wemby, I believe, in these qualifiers this year. And I pointed out in that graphic, when you look at the three of them, hey, two of those guys can shoot and one can't. Talking about Rudy Gobert is the guy that can't. And it's Maxime Raynaud's shooting that I really want to focus on and talk about here, Kayla, because we had a conversation a couple weeks ago that was not the most encouraging if you are a Maxime Raynaud fan. And that was in a three-center lineup, in a three-center rotation, when all three of the centers you want to get playing time, ultimately somebody is going to get the shorter end of the stick. It always happens. On paper, you would say Dylan Cardwell should be that guy out of the three because he's the least skilled of the three centers, especially offensively. Sabonis, we know, is number one. As long as he stays healthy, he's that guy. There's just no need to talk about it. But what separates Cardwell from the other centers is his ability to play defense. Maxime Raynaud is a really good offensive center. So is Domantas Sabonis. So you're kind of stuck in that sense. But what Max does that neither of those two can do, that the Kings, who were dead last in three-point attempts per game and second to last in three-point shooting percentage last season, what he does is, at least we've seen it in Stanford, his time in Stanford, and he was working on it very clearly in Summer League in Las Vegas, he can shoot the three. Kayla, that might be his golden ticket. If he can establish that three-point shot consistently, and I'm not talking an absurd volume, the same level of like Keegan Murray, but if he can space the floor and establish that three-point shot, whether it's a pick and pop or standing in the corner, he's going to stay on the floor.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. First of all, because they, and I'm speaking of the Kings here, they need three-point shooting. And they've lacked three-point shooting, especially at home, where we just can't figure out the mystery of why other teams that aren't even good at shooting the three come into Golden One Center and shoot it well, and the Kings just still can't.
The Orlando Magic every year.
Yeah, it needs to be a Pablo investigation.
That was a problem during the Beam Team years,
right,
too.
that's what I heard.
It just makes no sense.
It really is weird.
Everybody loves to shoot in that gym except for the Kings.
Exactly. But no, they would really, really benefit from something like that. And then it would make it easier for Doug to, when needing to find minutes for Max, right? Even if you feel, we defensively aren't looking as great with this rotation or with this lineup, you would benefit from the scoring part of it. Because if he can truly get back to that, that's a big thing. Then that just brings up another thing. Get back to that. Because we kind of said this with Keegan Murray, because he shot really well during that rookie season at least.
Yes, shot over 40%.
We're talking about Max was a good shooter at Stanford in terms of the three-point shot. Is there anything that makes sense with some of these guys why they lose it? Like, I really do start to wonder sometimes. Like, it's such a three-point shot. Like, you kind of are known for that if you've done it.
Well, the college to NBA transition is different because the three-point line is further back. That's just one of the most obvious reasons.
But that wouldn't explain, the Keegan part of it.
How you're being used is different.
Yes.
And specifically with Keegan and Max, that's what I'd point to. Yeah. Keegan, his rookie year, the way he played, his role in the offense, significantly different from his role now. And on top of that, his workload on the defensive side of the floor. Now, some people have used that as an excuse. I do not subscribe to that being used as an excuse. It can be a reality. It can be Keegan Murray's shooting has been impacted by the amount of workload that he takes on the defensive end, to which then I counter with, well, are you going to be one of the best two-way players in the league like the Kings need you to be, or are you not? Because if your defense is so going to drastically affect your offensive and your ability to shoot, then you're not as good of a two-way player as the Kings thought you could be when they drafted you with the 4th overall pick. Now, I will say Keegan Murray defensively has been better than I expected him to be when the Kings drafted him, and offensively has been worse than I expected when they drafted him. So there's give and take. but your role matters. The way that Stanford used Maxime Raynaud and the way the Kings used Maxime Raynaud, totally different. Max was the go-to scorer for Stanford, and they used him in the pick and pop. They gave him shots on the perimeter in transition. He was their offensive engine. Max was primarily used as a pick-and-roll scorer with the Kings.
But so that's the thing, though, Matt. With you saying that, do you think that is realistic if that's what made him be able to succeed or was able to just get in a rhythm even so?
I mean, let me
Would
look at
that
this.
be realistic, though, to still somewhat have that happen here with him in a completely different situation?
Yes, because I'm not looking for the same volume. Like, it would be one thing if I was seeing Max as the leading scorer at Stanford and saying, I want that for the Kings, I'd be kidding myself. But that's not what we're asking for. We're not asking for, and shout out Stanford's website for being useless when it comes to showing me the numbers that I want.
I tried to find those too. They're
Not
really hard to
surprising.
find.
So in college, he averaged 12 points, 7. Is this college? Oh, God. Yes, 12 points, 7 rebounds, and assist a game. Shot 34% from three-point range. But on at least his senior season, he was shooting 5 3-point attempts per game.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
He's not going to shoot that much in Sacramento unless he becomes Brooke freaking Lopez, which I would love for the
But
Kings.
to that point, does that make it tougher for him then to, because he's never, if you're taking less volume too, you just don't have as many opportunities.
So
you get what I'm saying?
How about this for an example? The year before his senior year at Stanford, when he was the clear leading scorer, the year before he averaged 15 points per game. His senior year, he averaged 20 points and 10 rebounds a game, by the way. That year, he shot 36% from three-point range on just shy of 2 attempts a game. Boom.
Okay.
36% on 2 attempts.
So proof that it could be done.
Get me to 35% from 3 on 3
Yeah.
attempts per game. You got yourself a deal, Mr. Raynaud. Like, that's what I'm looking for.
Let's sign a contract.
Yeah,
about
let's get
this.
it done now. Basketball gods.
Yeah.
Make it happen. Give him his talent. It's not about Max replicating his role at Stanford, which is, to your point, that's not realistic.
That's not realistic, yeah.
But it's taking how Max was used at Stanford and the skill that Max was used at Stanford in his shooting and utilizing it better in Sacramento.
Yeah.
Because the Kings, I don't look at Max's three-point shooting numbers last season, to which he shot
I was just going to ask what.
32% on 1 attempt a game.
Oh, okay.
That is not a reflection on Max to me. That is a reflection on how the Sacramento Kings used him. Max did not get any opportunity at all to shoot the 3. He didn't. Yeah. Because Max was primarily used as a pick-and-roll scoring threat center, and he showed that it could work. To his credit, Max made the All-NBA rookie team, the second team. He was the only non-lottery pick to make an all-rookie team by playing differently than his best season at Stanford, which got him drafted. That's a credit to him. But the Kings need that three-point shooting, and Domantas Sabonis, his elite skill is his passing and how he can play offensively and run the offense through him, and he's an all-NBA caliber center. He ain't going anywhere. The Kings don't play defense. Dylan Cardwell plays that defense. Max's shooting is what separates him.
It's going to be interesting with Max too, because I don't know, because they didn't figure to use him as much as they did last year, and so this kind of throws everything off a little for that reason, because now we're comparing his rookie season every year, right? We're like, well, can Max maximize what he did last year? He needs to, or he needs to do this better. But then this year, he's not really going to be necessarily in a role where he can do that. So, and then the year after, if he's here, and Domantas Sabonis is gone, now are you using him in a it's really interesting with him in particular, because I think he's going to go through a bit of a swing of what they're using him for, what they want to use him for. Does that make it tougher on a player to find their identity in this system? Do you get what I'm saying?
It is very difficult to ask a player to be consistent when the role you give them is not.
That's what I'm kind of
and
getting at.
That's been a Kings problem
for a long time.
How could the Kings expect Keon Ellis to be consistent last season when they inconsistently played him? Same thing for Malik Monk last season. That was a problem with Davion Mitchell as well. Now, it's the realities of the NBA that not everybody can play. And it's next man up mentality and stay ready. These are cliches used by coaches, but really they are skills. If you can be a player like Doug McDermott was, for example.
Oh, yeah.
Is Doug McDermott that good of an NBA player? No. There's a reason why he wasn't playing until garbage time. Sure. But Doug McDermott would come into the game after not playing for 3 straight days or 3 straight games and would shoot 4 of 6 from 3.
He'd do what he was supposed to do.
Teach me how to Doug.
Shout out Doug McDermott. He did his job, right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's a skill. It is going to be difficult for Max to replicate what he did last year. I think it's going to be incredibly difficult. I think Max is, I think, naturally on paper going to regress if Domantas Sabonis stays healthy simply because of opportunity. And because now Doug could shock me and go, I don't care about Dylan Cardwell's defense. I'm playing Max and Sabonis together, which we didn't see at all last year. And if he does that, well, I'm here for the ride. Let's see how it works. I just don't think it works necessarily. But with Domantas Sabonis and Dylan Cardwell playing together, which we did see a little bit before Sabonis got his season shut down last year, it worked because of Cardwell's defense, but it doesn't work because of the lack of spacing. On the flip side, Max and Sabonis doesn't work because of the defense part, but works because of the spacing. Yeah. And if the Sacramento Kings, like we've talked about, are going to establish themselves offensively as their primary strength, you could make an argument that that's why you need Max out there. And defense kind of be damned. I don't think they'll do that because of Doug Christie, but it's a reason for, like, if Max
maybe they don't do it in the beginning, right?
If Max's three-point shooting is there, it's going to be hard to take him off the court. And by that, I mean give him 3 of them a game, and he makes 34 to 35%. That's valuable to this Kings team, just to space the floor to keep defenses honest a little bit.
I mean, if you're going to pick one thing where you'd like Max to, like, I don't know, have like a very beneficial superpower this season, that would definitely be it.
Mm-hmm. Max is the guy that, in my opinion, when he's on the floor with Sabonis, he needs to space. When he's on the floor without Sabonis, he's your pick and roll, but also pick and pop.
So he would still have there'd be a couple of them, but he'd have roles where he really could hone into, this is what we're utilizing, you know?
Yes. It's just the stretches of how much that role changes.
Exactly.
His role is contingent upon if Sabonis is playing with him or not. Mm-hmm. That's the hard part. Because in theory, and we kind of saw them experiment with this in Summer League, right? In theory, you'd like to say, we're playing 48 minutes the exact same way, and when Sabonis is in the game, we're playing the offense through him. That means when Sabonis comes out of the game, we'd love to play the offense through our other center, so we play the same way for 48 minutes. That's not realistic a lot of times when you have a player that's so skilled like Sabonis that he's almost a unicorn. Like even the Denver Nuggets can't do that. The Nuggets have to play completely different when Nikola Jokic is out of the game. That's usually like Jamal Murray time.
Yep. But they have a plan for it.
Yes.
Right?
And they're good enough to handle it. They've been established enough to handle it. Max is going to be, depending upon when Sabonis is in the floor or on the floor or not, Max's role is going to change. Because when Sabonis isn't in, use Max the exact same way you did last year and hope that a combination of Darius Acuff Jr. and Malik Monk can recreate the same pick and roll duo that Russell Westbrook got out of Max. Boom, easy. Seen it before. It's when Sabonis is in the game that we haven't seen yet. And that's why I think it's more likely that when Sabonis is in the game and the Kings want to go to center, it's going to be Dylan Cardwell because of the defense, because you know that's reliable. It doesn't rely on Sabonis for him to play defense.
So, serious question, and it might be a stupid one to some people, but I mean, because I think every conversation we have that concerns this year's Kings, it's a lot of like, well, they could do this, but they might do this.
It's this or that.
It's like you could do with this or you could do with that. You know, that little song or whatever. Would it be easier, and it might not be as good of a team, but would it be easier if like Sabonis wasn't on this team at this point?
Yes.
To make these decisions?
Absolutely. It would be.
It's so incredible.
The Kings would be way worse, but it would absolutely be easier.
It's incredible like how one player can dictate so many different situations. Mm-hmm.
If the Kings,
but that's just, I mean,
if the Kings are just straight tanking, that's what they would do.
Yeah.
But they have to win games.
And it makes it so much more hard to figure out.
And it's not just that now, because we are looking at Max and Dylan and Neek last year as the priority because they were the young players at the time.
But
Darius Acuff Jr. is now the priority. And I would argue that not only does Domantas Sabonis give the Kings the best chance to win basketball games right now to avoid the relegation zone, Domantas Sabonis gives Darius Acuff Jr. the best chance of being the best version of himself.
Yeah.
On this team.
Yeah.
I'm not saying there's not a better center out there for him. Of course there is. But on this team right now, if Sabonis is better for Acuff and better for winning, and you have to sacrifice Max's playing time in order to play Sabonis, if that's the conclusion they come to, that's where Max is stuck. That's where Max needs to find something to bring to the table. It's almost like an ace up his sleeve. Whoa, not so fast.
I got this.
Because if you bench me, you lose this. 3-point shooting is the answer.
It is so funny because it's like we take conversations and we feel we're taking a step forward with the young guys and they're progressing. But then like this year, I feel like conversations, we take a step back sometimes because now Sabonis is back in the picture. You know, obviously he's going to be healthy, or we hope he can be healthy. And so we're taking kind of a step back because that means then one of these young guys who really benefited last year from the playing time and we saw progression, he just can't. It just doesn't make as much sense.
But this is the universal balance between playing time versus meaningful minutes.
Yeah.
Because
that comes to the point of, again, Doug Christie.
I would argue if Domantas Sabonis were not on this team and Maxime Raynaud got to play 30 minutes a night like he did last season, but the Kings are the worst team in the NBA, is that better than the Kings being in more competitive basketball games, Max playing 15 minutes, but Darius Acuff Jr. playing 30 on a competitive basketball team? That's way better for the Kings in my mind. What's different right now is we're spitballing and speaking in hypotheticals based off of something we haven't seen. We could see something work. Like I would love nothing more than preseason game 1 to see Sabonis and Maxime Raynaud play together, and it looks great. I'm like, oh, there it is, because we haven't seen it yet. I would love to see that, because then a lot of these question marks that we automatically assume are not going to work very well because of the defense, we get some of those answers. That would make life a lot easier for the Kings, right? And Kings fans. But if things go the way that I think they would go with a Sabonis-Maxime Raynaud lineup, which is offensively the Kings are fine, but defensively, the drop-off is so significant that the offense doesn't outweigh it, then somebody's going to have to take the fall for that. Yeah. Not the fall. That's not fair. Someone is going to get subbed out, and Max is going to be the guy that's getting subbed out. Someone's going to see their minutes limited or decreased. I feel like it's Max. Man, I'd love to be in the mind of Max in the offseason and, like, just knowing that you have to get better. You can only control what you can control. Right. But knowing in the back of your mind, things are going to be different. Yeah. And you might not be utilized as much. Like, I really would love to get in the mind of Max. And we're going to have an opportunity, whether it's our show or other shows, to talk to these guys. And these are things where I think these are legitimate questions for guys like Max and how you're dealing with it and how you're coming into the season preparing for something like that. I almost think Max is playing with house money because he came into the league as the 42nd overall pick, joining a team that was veteran loaded, that had they stayed healthy, who knows if Max would have gotten any playing time really at all. Yeah. Now he's played himself into a position where it's a conundrum. That's a win. The fact that Max has made his coach's decision harder with his rotations is a win. Because you can't just put Max in a box anymore. The fact that we have to be concerned about stunting the growth of Maxime Raynaud or limiting his opportunity to build upon the great year that he had because of how he played is a win for him. I'm not saying he wouldn't be frustrated if he starts the season and is playing 15 minutes a game and going like, what the hell? Now people are in my way. I think that would be unbelievably frustrating. But at the same time, I think Max should play in France right now going, I freaking belong here. One of the best rookies in the league last year. And I'm playing in a 3-center system in France, just like I'm going to be playing in Sacramento. Absolutely. This is great for me. If anyone can, and that's the thing, if I still get the opportunity to talk to Max, we do our show, I'll ask him it. But I feel like if anyone has the right mindset and kind of like the inner toughness, I feel Max does. Well, he's just a smart guy. He's unbelievably smart. Yeah. I think he understands. He really is. Well, and plus, I think rookies get an appreciation for how long an 82-game season is. Okay, I'm not starting the season in the same role. Who knows where the hell we're going to be by December, let alone January, February, March. Like, I think it's easier to understand patience as a second-year player maybe than it is as a rookie when you're chomping at the bit to play right away every day.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Max is unbelievably smart. What gives me confidence is I go back to Tristy Rodriguez from NBC Sports, her interview that she had with Dylan and Max at the same time, and her question about, you both are technically competitors.
Yeah.
You play the same position, but you came into the league together at the same time. And both of their answers to that question, but Max's answer is like, hey, iron sharpens iron. We make each other better. That's the right approach to have.
Yep.
And we'll see how Doug handles it.